All right, you guys, I just decided to hop on for a quick live stream after SuperMotocross round one from North Carolina just concluded. And holy smokes, did we see a great race for sure in both classes. In fact, it looks like the 250 class could be between Jo Shimoda and Haiden Deegan. And Jo Shimoda really showed me something. And it looks like Pro Circuit has figured out some of the troubles that were going on for much of the season. And strict 8. Heck yeah, brother. Oh, yeah, for sure. I tell you, it looks like it's going to be between Shimoda and Deegan. And, shout out to Cooksey because he didn't think that Hunter Lawrence would win the 250 class in the Super Motocross. I'm starting to think that he might be right. You know why? Because the way that Hunter rode, I just don't think he looked like himself. I mean, yeah, that track was hard to pass on, and you got to give him that. But quite frankly, I actually thought that Hunter would have done a lot better. And I think the percentages really fell in the start. And that was certainly the case for Jet Lawrence in the 450 class as well. I'll get to that in a little bit. But I have to admit, though, I went with Levi Kitchen as my all-star on the Pulp MX site. And he did good in the first one, not so great in the second one. But I'm actually glad I went with Ryder DeFrancesco as one of my picks because Ryder D, he really knows how to give everybody a good score because, I mean, you look at how this guy's season is gone this year. I mean, he's been hot and cold, and when he's hot, he puts on rides like that. And you know what? Props to him for a third-place ride. It wasn't for an overall podium, but you know what? Considering the way his year went, I think he'll take that any day of the week. And if I was in his position, hell yeah, I'd have took that for sure. I'd have took that ride for sure. Because he kind of reminds me a little bit of an aspiring Eli Telmac when Telmac was coming up through the when Telmac was really making his name known in the 250s, and then he ended up as a titleist. I don't know if Ryder D is going to be a titleist. I like to think so, but it's going to take a little while. I mean, not everybody comes in and wins right away. But I think that ride is going to do a lot for him mentally. So anyway, why do I think it's going to be between Haiden Deegan and Jo Shimoda? Well, obviously Jo Shimoda because he won today's race, today's opener, and Hunter Lawrence did not look the best. But I would think that Haiden Deegan has got something to prove after what happened towards the end of the 250 class in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, where he had a couple of bike problems. And I can understand Haiden Deegan being all pissed off the way that he was. And but it looked like, but if round two at Chicago is going to be any indication, the start looks like it's going to be a really, really critical. Kind of like how a basketball team comes out strong right away and comes out to a firing start like a 12-0 start. That's what it looks like it's going to be for Super Motocross, or Super Duper as Cooksey calls it. And but the 450 class, I actually thought Jet Lawrence would have done a lot better than he did. I mean, he didn't do bad necessarily, but the first one I thought he kind of choked. But then again, it is his first 450 Supercross, so maybe working some bugs out, possibly. But then again, that track was a little start dependent. But I did like the fact that it was split starts, because if it was all one start, then that would be a problem. And looking forward, They're looking forward. Chase Sexton looks like he's stamping his authority and out to prove something after how Lucas Oil Pro Motocross went. And I tell you, when Jet Lawrence started closing in on Sexton, I thought, unless Sexton doesn't get by Roczen, that's going to be a mental blow for Chase Sexton after how motocross went for him. He didn't even lead a lap. He didn't even win a moto. And, whew. But when you made that pass on Roczen, I thought for sure that was coming. And if Roczen went to the outside in one of those corners, that was going to bite him, and it did. But another guy that I'm sure has got to be feeling that crash, you saw him in the second race, Adam Cianciarulo. I was like, oh my gosh. I thought, for a minute, I thought he was going to save it, but then that hay bale took him down. And, but I guarantee you, if that hay bale wasn't there, or that tough block wasn't there, Cianciarulo probably would have saved that. But instead, it didn't work out. So obviously, we're looking forward to the next race in Chicago and the final round at LA. First time they're racing there since 1998, and for Chicago, it's the first time they've been there since 2000, when Jeremy McGrath won that race in 2000 in Chicago at Route 66 Raceway, and of course, who could forget Sebastian Tortelli winning the LA opener in 98 on a Kawasaki? So we're obviously it looks like it's going to be between Shimoda and Deegan. And unless Hunter Lawrence gets something together, it looks like motocross might be his last title, the 250 motocross title. For Hunter Lawrence, I mean. But is it a title hangover? As Cooksey kind of touched on? Maybe. But I thought like I said, I thought Hunter would have done a lot better. I mean, yeah, he went down in the first race. But RJ Hampshire probably had it worse, with that crash off the hip double, as Ricky called it. But yeah, that was like Lusk at Phoenix in 2001 when he went for a triple, didn't even come close. Hampshire didn't even come close to clearing that double. So, did I have any? Who was my pick to win today? I actually had an outside feeling that it might have been one of the pro circuit guys after Hammaker looked good, and but Shimoda was probably my second pick. But for some reason, I kind of thought Hammaker might show me something. And for a while, he did. Until he crashed in the first race. And but in the 450s, I kind of thought Sexton would have something to prove after how motocross went for him. I thought it would be between Sexton or Jet Lawrence as the winner. And it turned out to be Sexton. But a guy that I thought would have done better was AC. As far as Roczen goes, I think he kind of finished. I kind of would have put him maybe second, or I probably would have put him maybe third or fourth. I don't know where you guys would have put him at, but hey, first round. But like what Ricky was saying on the broadcast, if you're gonna have a bad race, this was the one to do it, because they double the points in round 2 and triple the points in round 3. So I don't know who you guys are picking for the next race, but I don't know. I think Deegan's going to win round 2 in the 250s, and I think Sexton's probably going to take it again in round 2 in the 450 class anyway. So coming up on 10 minutes, I think this is probably enough for a quick live stream. So we'll see you guys for round 2 at Chicagoland Speedway, and I'll catch y'all later.